الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good morning Instagram fam, friends and followers of as-Saafiy, and welcome to another episode of Revert Reflections. So brothers and sisters, earlier this week I asked my Facebook family, some close associates in the Muslim community, and some people whom I consider friends. I asked them, had they heard any Muslim figure or organization speak out against the racially motivated shooting in Buffalo. So my Facebook post, it read, have any of you attended, seen, or heard a khutbah addressing the mass shooting in Buffalo? Have any of you seen a social media post from a prominent imam addressing it from the Islamic perspective? Have any one of you seen a mosque or Islamic center that has issued a statement condemning it or expressing solidarity with the victims? So the answer to that question, which was answered by dozens of people, the answer was a resounding no. The closest official organizational condemnation came from Muslim advocates who called upon the DOJ to investigate Facebook and other social media companies because they were allowing these videos to be live streamed and they were allowing them to be posted, the videos to be posted to their platforms and seen by thousands of people before taking them down, etc. That's not exactly a condemnation of the event. It's not exactly an expression of solidarity. That just doesn't pass muster. Now another brother, Jazakallah khair, he shared the social media posts of two imams who condemned the shooting and called out white supremacist ideology, which was nice. But we have hundreds, maybe even thousands of imams in this country. In this country alone, if you also include Canada, the number goes up. And two, that's not really a large number. That's not a large percentage. But contrast this, but other than that, I spoke with dozens of people across the country. Like I said, dozens of people responded to this post. I spoke to some people personally, I spoke to some people offline, etc. And my message reached a number of people who just didn't respond. And I think it's likely that they didn't respond because they didn't have anything. They couldn't produce anything. None had heard anything from the imams and organizations with which they are familiar. So we're talking about people across the country, different cities, different states, and they're probably somehow connected to many Islamic organizations and many individuals who are active in the field of Islamic evangelism. Not a peep. Contrast this to times in the past when similar incidents have occurred to other people of other colors and other religions, in other spaces, predominantly white spaces, occupied by people with a shared race or ethnicity. When it was other people, because people who shared the race and ethnicity are the one who's going to respond, or other spaces, right? Other spaces. There was what? There was a response. Or the people were those people who, if you don't respond and express sympathy and empathy with them, then they'll call you anti-Semitic. When it was those types of people, in terms of other people in terms of their color or other spaces occupied by people of other colors or people who will call you anti-Semitic if you don't condemn what happens to them. When those things happen, we have seen when things happen to those people, we have seen Islamic communities and prominent Islamic figures rush to respond with thoughts and prayers. We've seen them rush to join their vigils and post condemnations on their websites and their social media platforms. Which begs the question, why the disparity? Are we only supposed to call out some wrongs and not call out other wrongs? And obviously this can't be the case because it's diametrically opposed to the teaching which lies in the hadith of Abi Sa'id al-Khudri collected by Muslim, in which the Prophet said, "Man ra'a minkum munkaran falyughayyirhu biyadihi fa lam yastati' fa bilisanihi." He said, whoever amongst you sees a crime, that's general. You see something done that's wrong. You see something being done that's wrong. Whatever it is, whenever that occurs, whoever the victims are and whoever the victimizers are, فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ, let him change it with his hand. فَلَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَبِلِسَانِهِ. If he can't do it with his hand, then let him do it with his tongue, regardless of the wrong, every wrong, not some wrongs, not wrongs that are committed against some people or in some spaces occupied by some people. We're supposed to condemn it, whatever it is, whoever it is. Also, if we say that, well, we condemn some wrongs, we don't condemn other wrongs. If we were to say that, it would be wrong to say that, but if we were to say that, how do we determine which wrongs we're going to call out and which wrongs we're not going to call out? Which wrongs we're going to be silent about? Do we determine on the basis of how we feel about the victims? It sure seems like it. It seems like we're selective, and we're selective on the basis of how we feel about the victims, or how we view the victims, or how the victims are generally viewed. If they're marginalized people normally dismissed and disregarded, and things that are happened to them are disregarded, we do what? We dismiss and disregard, because that's the status quo. The early Muslims, though, they used to criticize people who would see an act of oppression or a spiritual crime being committed and do or say nothing. Regardless of who the victims were, if something was wrong and they didn't call it out, people would say it's wrong not to call it out. It's wrong to be silent. And one example I can give is the example which was mentioned, or the statement that was mentioned by Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala in his Majmu' al-Fatawa. And this is a very good statement, which is why I'm quoting it, not because he's the earliest person we can quote with this type of sentiment. This is something which the companions on down the line throughout history, the Muslims have spoken about this and condemned the one who sees something wrong and remains silent, although he is capable of speaking out against it. So Ibn Taymiyyah, he says, قال الله تعالى فلا تتبعوا الهوى أن تعدلوا وإن تلووا أو تؤردوا فإن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا والوى لسانه أخبر بالكذب وأعرض سكت وكتم الحق والساكت عن الحق شيطان أخرس. He said, rahimahullah ta'ala, Allah the Exalted says, do not allow your personal interests to cause you to swerve from justice. Your personal interests, your personal prejudices to cause you to swerve from justice, from doing what you know is right because of how you feel about the people who've been wronged. If you distort the truth or turn away from it, Allah is certainly aware of what you do. The Shaykh, the Imam, he says, the meaning of the tongue distorting is speaking falsely. The meaning of turning away from truth is concealing the truth and refusing to speak it. The one who is silent and does not say what is right is a mute devil. Brothers and sisters, in the Buffalo mass shooting, nearly a dozen people were killed. What does our religion say about the sanctity of life? What does our religion say about murder? That's a crime, a major crime. So if we see something wrong, we're supposed to what? Speak about it. That was a crime worthy of speaking out against. But we're silent for the most part. The shooting was racially motivated. What does our religion say about racism? That was a crime that the Prophet called jahiliyyah. Meaning it's something which represents everything he came to what? To eradicate. Everything which is wrong in this world and undermines what he preached and taught. That's something worth calling out and speaking out against. But for the most part, we're silent. I understand that so much is going on, it's difficult to call out everything. The shooting occurred less than 2 weeks ago, and there was a shooting 2 days ago. It's like you're trying to process one major incident and another one happens right on top of that one. I understand that. I get that. It's difficult to call out everything, but when we only call out certain things that happen to certain people, we need to reflect, hold the incident up to ourselves like a mirror. Like I said, we've been talking about the last 2 days. Hold those incidents up to ourselves like a mirror and reflect on what that says about us as individuals and what that says about us as a community. I only call out certain things when they happen to certain people. And when they happen to other people, I dismiss, I disregard, I couldn't care less. What does that say about us? We have to be honest. We have to look ourselves in the mirror and do honest introspection and fix what is wrong with us. And this is something which is wrong with us. We have to admit it because we can't begin to fix it until we acknowledge the fact that we have a problem. Until next week, inshallah ta'ala, a lot more to say about this topic, but the week has come to an end. As always, we encourage you, if you're finding the content beneficial, there are likely other people who are not aware of our different platforms that could benefit. Please share. Please let people know what we're doing. Share these videos, particularly yesterday's video. I want as many people to see that as possible because I want someone to prove me wrong. So brothers and sisters, please help me get the word out, especially this message, because we have a problem everywhere I've been. This has been a problem, but nobody's talking about it. It's the elephant in the room that everybody's acting like it's not there. We have to talk about this. So please share this content. May Allah reward you all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your Friday. May He bless your weekend. May He bless you and make you blessed wherever you may be. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.